Welcome to iRise online classes. We'll start with the verbal part in detail from this session. Let me introduce myself before starting with the topics. My name is Mithun. I've done my post-graduation in English Language and Literature from Kerala University. I've been in the field of teaching for competitive exams for almost 10 years. I've been with this institute iRise for more than 5 years now. We'll deal with the verbal part in detail. We'll go for the topics in detail from this session. In the verbal part of examination, we're going to focus mainly on grammar, vocabulary and verbal logic. In the grammar section, we have to go for 8 topics in detail. In the vocabulary part, we have to discuss antonyms, synonyms and one-word substitutions. In the verbal logic part, we have to go for reading comprehension, cloze test, fill-in-the-blank questions and parajumbles. We'll start with the grammar part and then we'll move on to verbal logic and vocabulary. In the case of grammar questions, there's no choice for us but to go by the rules of the language. We'll discuss the rules of every topic. We'll go for an exercise on that topic. And once we complete the rules and the exercise of every topic, we'll club all the topics and do some questions. Now at the beginning stage, we should not go for the previous year questions. Because when you go for a previous year question, you must be able to identify based on which topic there is. In order to identify that, a good knowledge of all the topics is required. So initially we'll start with the individual topics. We'll do an exercise based on every topic, some questions we'll go for, and then we'll club all the topics and do some workshops like previous year questions. Now as I said, we'll start with the grammar part and then we'll move on to verbal logic and vocabulary. In the grammar part, we'll start with this topic, subject-verb agreement. In fact, this is an important topic. Now when you go for a question on grammar, whether it's sentence improvement or spotting the error, first think about the basics of this topic. Only then move on to the basics of the other topics. In the previous years, most of the questions in the grammar part appeared based on this topic, subject-verb agreement. Now subject-verb agreement is also termed as Concord. We'll go for the rules. I'll tell you the rules in detail. Now every topic has a set of exceptions. So we'll have to go for the rules and the exceptions by heart. Now in fact, the rules and the exceptions to make our task very easy. There's no need for us to think too much and waste our time. We can directly move on to the exact answer if we are well versed in the rules of the language. So this topic, subject of agreement, deserves a lot of importance in the grammar part. You know what a verb is? My question is there any sentence in English without a verb? Now we cannot imagine even a single sentence in English without a verb. Now every sentence in English must contain a verb. If a sentence does not contain a verb, that statement is grammatically wrong. For example, if I go for a statement like myself, Mithun, this is a commonly made error. Myself, Mithun, full stop, it must be a sentence. Now as I said, every sentence must contain a verb. If there is no verb in a sentence, the sentence is grammatically wrong. Come to the same statement, myself, Mithun, full stop. There's no verb in this statement, so this is grammatically wrong. In fact, this is a wrong usage. Now if I say, I am Mithun, this is a correct statement, a grammatically correct statement. I am Mithun, we have a verb in this statement that is am. So this is grammatically fine. I'll tell you about all these in detail in this topic. So every sentence must contain a verb. Now in a sentence, as I said, every sentence must contain a verb. In English, we have main verbs as well as auxiliary verbs. Main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Main verb means action. Any action can be called a main verb. Singing, dancing, running, teaching, jumping, sitting, standing, all actions can be termed as main verbs. So we have main verbs as well as auxiliary verbs. Main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Main verbs denote action. There is a first definition of a verb. As I said, any action can be called a main verb. Auxiliary verbs can be divided into 3. One is linking verbs, I'll tell you what. Then helping verbs. The last one is modals. It's not models, it's modals, modals. Now auxiliary verbs can be divided into linking, helping and modals. Whenever you learn a rule, associate every rule or every strategy with an example. Now we may forget rules, but we may not forget examples. So with the help of examples, we can easily recollect the rules. Linking, helping and modals. Come to modals. Modals are auxiliary verbs that tell us about a responsibility, a duty or an obligation. All mean the same. Any auxiliary verb telling us about responsibility, a duty or an obligation can be called a modal. For example, if I say, you must come. Must is a modal because it tells us about a responsibility or a duty. You should come, should is a modal. You have to come, you need to come, you ought to come, he has to come. All these can be termed as modals because all these words tell us about a compulsory action. So that is about a modal. Now we're left with linking and helping. If I go for a statement like, he is playing. He is playing. I go for one more statement. He is good. He is good. Now in the first statement, he is playing, I say that is called a main verb. Is called an auxiliary verb. And in this case, is a now in the first statement, he is playing, I say that is called a helping verb. Whereas in the second statement, he is good, I say that is called a linking verb. Now come to the second statement, he is good. There is no main verb in this sentence. There is no action here. Main verb is action. He is good. There is no main verb in this statement. If there is no main verb in a sentence, then the auxiliary verb in that sentence is termed as linking. Come to the first one. He is playing. We have a main verb here that is playing. And when there is a main verb in a sentence, the auxiliary verb in that sentence is termed as helping. That's how we can differentiate between a linking verb and a helping verb. When there is no main verb in a sentence, the auxiliary verb is called linking. When there is a main verb in a sentence, the auxiliary verb is termed as helping. And there are no sentences in English without a verb. So this is about a verb. Now we are going for the topic, eliminating the middleman. Now this topic has many subdivisions. We'll go for those subdivisions in detail, then we'll do an exercise based only on the rules we discussed now. Now every question, every option must be approached only with the help of rules. Now in the sessions, we'll discuss every question, every option based only on the concepts we discussed in the rules part. Now you must have a valid logical reason to select an option as well as eliminate an option. Come to this one. What do you mean by a subject and what do you mean by an object? What do you mean by a subject in a sentence and what do you mean by an object in a sentence? Now every sentence must contain a subject. Now subjects can be nouns as well as pronouns. You know what a noun is, you know what a pronoun is. A noun is a naming word. The name of anything can be called a noun. A pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun or in the place of a noun. Any word that substitutes a noun or replaces a noun is called a pronoun, like he, she, it, they, you, we, me, etc. So subject and object can be living things as well as non-living things, but only nouns or pronouns. Come to statement, they play football. Now we have a pronoun here and we have a noun here. They is a pronoun, football is a noun. Now, as I said, subject and object can be living things or non-living things, but only nouns or pronouns. Now, they play football. I say the pronoun they is the subject here and the noun football is the object here. They play football. Who did the action here? They. Now, in a sentence, the doer of an action or the noun or pronoun given primary importance in a sentence is termed as a subject. They play football, they did the action here. So they, the pronoun they becomes a subject here. So the doer of an action or the noun or pronoun given primary importance is termed as a subject. So if the doer of the action is called the subject, what do you mean by an object? The receiver of an action or the sufferer of an action is termed as the object. Now what receives action here? The football receives action here. That is why the football is termed as the object. So the receiver of an action or the noun or pronoun given secondary importance in a sentence is termed as the object. Now in a sentence, an object is not necessary. May be there, may not be there. But a subject and a verb must be there in every sentence. If a sentence does not contain a subject or a verb, that statement is grammatically wrong. And as I told you earlier, when you go for a question on grammar, whether it's sentence improvement or spotting error, first we need to focus on the concepts of this topic, because every sentence must contain a subject and a verb. And there is a relationship or agreement between the subject and the verb in a sentence. So this topic is all about that relationship between the subject and the verb. Now the basic rule of subject-verb agreement is, if the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. This is the basic rule of subject-verb agreement. Subject singular, verb singular, subject plural, verb plural. You know when a subject becomes singular and plural. Boy is singular, boys is plural. Teacher singular, teachers plural. Child singular, children plural. When does a verb become singular? If I go for some verbs like sing, sings, do, does, fly, flies. Now all these are verbs. Now my question is the left hand side singular or right hand side singular? That's my question. I say the right hand side is singular and the left hand side is plural. So when does a verb become singular is whenever there is s, es or ies to a verb, that means the verb is singular. If no s, no es, no ies, that means the verb is plural. So sings is singular because of the s. Does is singular because of the es. And flies is singular because of the ies. Whereas sing, do and fly are plural because no s, no es, no is. I repeat, when there is s, es or is to a verb, the verb is singular, if not plural. Now as I told you, the basic rule is subject singular, verb singular, subject singular, verb singular, subject plural, verb plural. This is a basic rule. Now come to the same statement, they play football. The subject here is they, which is plural. If the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. The verb here is play, and play is a plural verb because no s, no es, no is. So this is a basic rule. When there is s, es or is to a verb, the verb is singular. If not, the verb is plural. Now in English, as I said, many exceptions are there. Two words have exceptions, and the two words that have exceptions are I and you. I and you have exceptions. I is a singular pronoun, of course singular. You is both singular and plural. And if I say, if there's only one person here, I'll say you. If there are many also, I'll just say you. So I is singular, the pronoun you is both singular and plural. Now as I said, I and you have exceptions. And the exception is this, with I and you, the verb must be plural. This is the exception. With I and you, the verb must be plural. Come to statement now. You study well. You study well. The subject here is you. And with you, the verb must always be plural. Study is a verb here, plural, because no s, no es, no is, grammatically fine. I study well. Same thing. The subject here is I. With I also, the verb must be plural. The verb here is study. No s, no es, no is. So study becomes a plural verb. So with I, the verb is study, which is a plural verb, completely fine. Now there is an exception regarding the usage of I. One more exception is that. Come to statement. I was a policeman. Now my question is, should it be I was a policeman or I were a policeman? This is my question. What is the past tense of is? Now, as you know, the past tense of is was. The past tense of am is also was. The past tense of both is and am is was. The past tense of are is were. The past tense of both is and am is was. The past tense of are is were. As you know, am is used only with I. Am is used only with I, and the past tense of am is was, not were. So am is used only with I, and the past tense of am is was. So we cannot use were with I, it must be was with I. So I was a policeman is completely fine. Now, when you go for a statement, in the case of English, any question, the two things that need to be focused on are, one is understanding the context. Understanding the context means the meaning of each and every sentence must be understood by us. That is understanding the context. Now, when you go for a statement or a question, as I said, first try to understand the meaning of a sentence. If you are able to understand the meaning of a sentence, sometimes you may be able to get the answer without even the help of a rule, but only sometimes. So one is understanding the context. The other thing is identifying the charge. Identifying the charge in the sense whether a question or an idea carries a positive charge or a negative charge. Now, the way you eliminate options in the case of mathematics using the charge, the same way you can eliminate options in the case of English using the charge. Now, there are many strategies that help us understand the context. There are many strategies that help us identify the charge. So, all the concepts we discuss in the sessions will be based on these two, the context and the charge. Come to statement now, the last statement here. If I dash you, I would help them. The options are was, were. So my question is whether this blank must be filled with was or were. If I dash you, I would help them. I say that this particular statement is in the subjunctive mood. S-U-B-J-U-N-C-T-I-V. Subjunctive mood. Subjunctive mode means something that is not a reality, something that is just an imagination or a wish, that is termed as subjunctive mode. Not a reality, just an imagination or a wish. If is always for imagination. If is never for reality. If is always for imagination. If I dash you, I would help them. I say that in this case we cannot use was, it has to be were. If I were you, I would help them. Because were can be used with I only if a sentence is in the subjunctive mode. Only if a sentence is in the subjunctive mode, were can be used with I. Whereas in all the other cases, with I it must be was. So if I were you, I would help them. So we can use were with I only if a statement is a subjunctive mode, if case. As I said, in all the other cases, with I it must be was. I dash a teacher, I was a teacher or I were a teacher. Now, no imagination, no general knowledge in the case of verbal questions. Just focus only on the details given in the statement. I dash a teacher, my question is was or were. There is no imagination in this statement, so it must be I was a teacher. What if I frame it this way? If I dash a teacher, I would teach you. If I dash a teacher, from this statement, am I a teacher? No. If I dash a teacher means I am not a teacher. I am imagining myself as a teacher or I wish to be a teacher. So this statement is a subjunctive mode. So it must be if I were a teacher, I would teach you. I dash the Prime Minister of India. There is no imagination in this statement. I was the Prime Minister of India. If I dash the Prime Minister of India, I would help the poor. If I dash the Prime Minister of India means I am not the Prime Minister of India. I am imagining myself as a Prime Minister of India or I wish to be the Prime Minister of India. So this dissonance is in the subjunctive mode. So in this case we have to use were. So if I were the Prime Minister of India, I would help the poor. So we can use were with I only if a sentence is in the subjunctive mode. So these are some exceptions in fact. Now when you go for this much knowledge is required for us to approach every topic in the English language, in the grammar part. Subject singular, verb singular, subject plural, verb plural. When there is s, es or ies to verb, the verb is singular if not plural. And exceptions are with ing. So these are the basic rules. Now as I said, this topic has got many subdivisions. We'll go for those subdivisions in detail and we'll try solving some questions based only on these rules, whether it's selection or elimination. Come to the very first rule, eliminating the middleman. Come to the first subdivision, eliminating the middleman. I'll tell you what. Come to the statement. Come to the statement. The killing of animals dash come to an end. The options are has, have. Now this blank must be filled with a verb. To insert the verb in a sentence, first we must know the subject. Because the verb depends on the subject in the sentence. And subjects can only be nouns or pronouns, undoubtedly. The killing of animals dash come to an end. Now my question is, before the blank, how many nouns are there? Sometimes a word can be a noun, verb, adverb, adjective. It depends on the sentence in which the word comes. When you refer a dictionary, one word has many meanings. The word will be here, the meanings will last till here. So one word has many meanings, and before the meaning of a word, in brackets, the part of speech will be given. We'll go for parts of speech in detail in the coming sessions. Now, identifying the part of speech of a word will surely help us in the case of spotting the error, sentence improvement, cloze test, and fill in the blank questions. In the case of cloze test and fill in the blanks, when you come across a blank, just see where the blank must be filled with a word belonging to which part of speech. If the blank must be filled with a noun, all the options that are not nouns can be eliminated. If it has to be filled with an adjective, all the options that are not adjectives can be eliminated. So identifying the part of speech will surely help us in the case of spotting the error, sentence improvement, cloze test, and fill in the blank questions. The killing of animals dash come to an end. I say that in this statement, killing is a noun. Now in English, two terms always come together. One is gerund and the other one is infinitive. These two always come together. These two always come together. Come to gerund. Gerund is verb plus ing acting as a noun. I'll give an example. Verb plus ing acting as a noun is called a gerund. That means a gerund can be termed as a verbal noun. Gerund can be termed as a verbal noun. The other one is infinitive. And infinitive is 2 plus V1 plural. There's nothing like 2 plus V1 singular. It is always 2 plus V1 plural. For example, sing. If I want to make this an infinitive, I'll just add 2 in front of it. To sing. And sing is V1 plural because no S, no ES, no IS. So 2 plus V1 plural, to sing becomes an infinitive. So gerund is verb plus ing acting as a noun. Infinitive is 2 plus V1 plural. Come to statements here. Come to the first one. Smoking causes cancer. Now, I say that in this statement, smoking is a noun. Now to find out the noun in a sentence, it's very easy. We need to ask only one question word, that is what. If you are getting the answer to the question what, that becomes a noun in the sentence. The sentence here is smoking causes cancer. What causes cancer? The answer is smoking. So we're getting the answer to the question what as smoking. So smoking becomes a noun here. Smoking is smoke plus ing. Smoke is a verb. So verb plus ing acting as a noun, smoking can be termed as a gerund. Getting it? To identify noun in a sentence, you just ask the question what. The answer to the question what becomes a noun. So what causes cancer? The answer is smoking. Smoking becomes noun here. ing word. An ing word acting as a noun, so smoking becomes a gerund. Without changing the order, we can convey the same idea in the infinitive form. To make it an infinitive, I'll just remove the ing and put to in front of it. To smoke becomes an infinitive. So smoking is verb plus ing acting as a noun. Infinitive is 2 plus V1 plural. Come to the next statement. They love singing. Singing, I say that. I say singing is a noun here. They love singing. What they love, the answer is singing. So what they love, the answer is singing. We're getting the answer to the question what as singing. Singing becomes a noun here. An ing word. Singing is sing plus ing. Sing is a verb. Verb plus ing acting as a noun. Singing can be called a gerund. She hates studying. She hates studying. What she hates, the answer is studying. So we're getting the answer to the question what is studying. Studying also becomes a noun here. An ing word acting as noun, studying becomes a gerund here. Now come to these three statements. He is smoking, I am singing, they are studying. Now in this statement, he is smoking, I say that smoking is a verb. I'll tell you why. I am singing, I say that singing is a verb. They are studying, the same reason, I say studying is a verb. Come to the statement, he is smoking. If I ask you, what is he doing? What is he doing? The answer is smoking. So you may say that smoking is a noun here. No. Now we can ask the question what based only on the words given in the sentence. Like, what causes cancer? The answer is smoking. What they love? The answer is singing. What she hates? The answer is studying. I cannot ask what is he doing to this statement because the word doing is not given here. Now if I want to ask a question what to this sentence, I can ask only this way. What is he? Now if I ask you what is he, will you say smoking? No. So we are not getting the answer to the question what is smoking. Smoking cannot be a noun here. Smoking becomes a verb here. I'll give you one more reason, a simple reason I'll give you. Leave it there, I'll come back to it. Come to next statement. I am singing. What am I? Will you say singing? No. So we are not getting the answer to the question what is singing. Singing cannot be a noun here. Singing becomes a verb here. They are studying. What are they? Will you say studying? No. So we are not getting the answer to the question what is studying. Studying cannot be a noun here. Studying becomes a verb here. To give you a simple reason, come to these statements once again. He is smoking. Smoking is an ing word. In this statement, we have an auxiliary verb in front of smoking. That is. Right. Come to next one. I am singing. Singing is an ing word. We have an auxiliary verb in front of singing. That is am. They are studying. Studying is ing. We have an auxiliary verb in front of studying. That is are. If there is an auxiliary verb in front of an ing word, that ing word becomes a verb. I repeat, if there is an auxiliary verb in front of an ing word, that ing word becomes a verb. Now come to these three sentences. The first three. Smoking causes cancer. Smoking is an ing word. We don't have an auxiliary verb in front of smoking, so smoking cannot be a noun here. Smoking becomes a verb here. They love singing. Singing is ing. There is no auxiliary verb in front of singing. Singing cannot be a verb here. Singing becomes a noun here. She hates studying. Studying is ing. No auxiliary verb in front of studying. Studying cannot be a noun here. Studying cannot be a verb here. Studying becomes a noun here. There's a simple reason to find out whether an ing word is a noun or a verb. Now come to the statement that I read earlier. The killing of animals dash come to an end. Killing is an ing word. We don't have an auxiliary verb in front of killing, so killing cannot be a verb here. One reason. The other reason is asking the question what. What dash come to an end? What dash come to an end? The answer is killing. So we're getting the answer to the question what as killing, so killing becomes a noun here. Killing is an ing word. Any ing word acting as a noun is called a gerund, so killing becomes a gerund. So this blank must be filled with a verb, and before the verb we have two nouns. One is killing and the other one is animals. Killing is uncountable actually. Right? Uncountable nouns always carry a singular verb with them. The other noun is animals. If the exact subject here is killing, the verb must be singular. If the exact subject here is animals, plural, the verb must also be plural. Now my question is, which is the exact subject here? Killing or animals? That is my question. Now as I said earlier, the rules are to make our task very easy. There's no need for us to think too much and waste our time. We can directly move on to the exact answer if you know the rules by heart. Now in this statement, we have two nouns before the verb. One is killing and the other one is animals. Whenever you come across two nouns before a verb, without thinking much, go for the method eliminating the middleman. This method has to be applied when there are two nouns before a verb. Eliminating the middleman means, without thinking much, you just eliminate the noun that comes in the middle of the sentence. Come to the same statement once again. The killing of animals dash come to an end. We have two nouns before the verb. One is killing, the other one is animals. Applying eliminating the middleman, the noun animals will get eliminated. Now we have only one noun left, killing, uncountable, must carry a singular verb with it. So killing of animals has come to an end. So when you come across two nouns before a verb, go for this method. Come to the next statement. The father as well as the sons dash here daily. The father as well as the sons dash here daily. This blank must be filled with a verb. And before the verb, we have two nouns. One is the father and the other one is the sons. So going for eliminating the middleman, which is a noun that comes in the middle? The sons. So without thinking much, eliminate the sons. Now we have only one noun left, the father, singular. Verb must also be singular. The father as well as the sons comes here daily. Sounds incorrect but completely fine. If I change the sentence the other way, the sons as well as the father. The sons as well as the father means the noun that comes in the middle is the father will get eliminated. We're left with the sons, plural, verb must also plural, then it must be come here daily. So in this case, the father as well as the sons comes here daily. Now these words, as well as, along with, together with, in addition to, accompanied by, besides, all these mean the same. The father as well as the sons is the same as the father along with the sons, together with the sons, in addition to the sons, accompanied by the sons, besides the sons, all these mean the same. To make it very precise to you, whenever there is a relationship between two entities, using these words as well as, along with, together with, in addition to, accompanied by, besides, give importance only to the first subject. That means the verb depends on the first subject. So if you find any of these words in any statement, focus only on the first subject. If the first subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. If the first subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. Come to the same statement once again. The father as well as the sons dash here daily. We have two entities here. One is the father, the other one is the sons. And the relationship between the two entities is shown using as well as. So as per the rule, we need to focus only on the first subject. The first subject here is a father, singular. Verb must also be singular, comes here daily. Now don't get confused between verb singular and verb plural. I repeat, whenever there is s, es or is to a verb, the verb is singular. If no s, no es, no is, that means the verb is plural.